Love you guys so much. This is so special to get to be here today. There's been some amazing transmissions that have been coming through. And within this, too, there is this beautiful sense of kind of bringing us inward. And there's a wonderful, wonderful bunch of questions that we have for our Q&A. So as we just gently start to get going, I'm going to invite any of you. Please do, as we get going, just write down any of the questions in the chat. So I'm just going to invite you again to open up your chat so that you can say hello to everybody. So I'm just saying hello to some of you that have logged in since we started our meditation. Brian, so good to see you. Claudia, say listening with Rich. Hello, Rich. So happy that you're here. Kate, Sean. So much love, Paula. I'm so honored to have you here. I just love you guys so very much. And as we get to dive into this, the first thing that I wanted to just kind of present, there's a couple kind of heady things that we'll play with. But the first thing that I want to touch into, we talk about the divine cosmic mother a lot. We talk about the divine SoPhiA, the divine triple goddess. And as we really truly begin to connect into this energy, there is a huge, oh, and hello, Antoinette. So beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. As we connect with this divine feminine, the divine cosmic mother, the divine womb, there is a deep understanding within us that our human minds have a hard time understanding, but that all is birthed from the mother. All of it. All of the polarities, all of the gender creations, all of the different forms, all of the different creations. And we want to recognize that, we're here in a human body. So our initial thought goes into, human form or forms or beings. But we want to remember all beings, all forms, the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, the aquatic kingdoms, the fungi kingdoms, which is huge. We have all of these different kingdoms that are all living out the consciousness of the Divine Mother. But that when we begin to truly dive even deeper into the Divine Mother, we're going to recognize that almost all wisdom teachings, and this is slightly going to tie into one of the questions we'll dive into later, but all the cosmic teachings have wanted to paint the mother as just this simple or virgin-esque female energy. And this really comes through later patriarchal wisdoms or religions in time. But the Divine Mother is not a secondary character. She's not just this haphazard vehicle that was useful for maybe bringing forward someone more divine. It's quite the opposite of that. That in truth, the divine cosmic SoPhiA is as much the beauty as she is the fierceness. She is that which is beautiful as she is that which we would perceive as ugly. Because within it, it is the life. It is the experience, but it is also the death. It is also the transmutation. It is also that transfiguration back into life again. And when we bring our consciousness into a really microscopic level, we want to recognize that the universe is not happening out there. Even when we talk about starseed connections and other races and other beings, that when we're really dealing with a lot of these other races and beings, we're maybe going up into 6D, maybe 7, not very far as the expansion of the eternal creation. But that the true journey is actually going inward. And that most creation we interact with, if it's interacting with it on an external level, is still playing within a very set field. of dimensional connection, right? So say we're connecting, and I'm just going to kind of play with it this way. Say we're connecting to the Orion beings, the reptilian beings, the Greys, the Pleiadians, right? The Aldebaran beings, they're the Anunnaki, or however we, whichever beings that there might be in our awareness or connection, we're still dealing with beings that are existing within a very close proximity of bandwidths of consciousness. Okay, so it's still a very material, even though some of them do have the ability to go a bit more etheric. For the most part, the characters within our mythology, the characters within our stories, the characters within Earth are still kind of dealing within this bandwidth of creation. And within that bandwidth of creation, it is chaos. It is drama. It is family drama. It is stories of all of these polarities. And if we stay within that bandwidth of vibration, it feels frustrating, trapped, like it never stops. I get all kinds of comments from even, say, the Voyager's book readings that it feels like, oh, well, it just feels like the same drama cycle after cycle. Like, what's the point of doing anything if it feels like everything we do just causes more drama and trouble? But I want to present a point out there, especially with things like the Voyager's materials. It's all dealing within a specific spectrum of experience. When we really look at the wisdom teachings, the doorway out is in. And from the transcendence of in, we would literally have the ability to begin to move our consciousness vibration to where even all the stories within the Voyager's books becomes like a faded dream. Something we wouldn't even want to play with anymore. And that we may feel trapped. We may feel as though, why am I here? What is the purpose? Why am I all alone? I feel different from everyone else. What the Guardians have really been sharing lately is this is all a personal journey. Everything is our own internal reflection. And even though that might seem so crazy, they say that where we focus, as we begin to see all of this chaos as though we are trapped, if you follow that within, we are going to come to a moment where we recognize we are the only ones that have ever trapped ourselves. But it's so much funner to blame someone else. Don't you want to blame it on the Greys or the reptilians or the government or your parents? Or isn't it so much easier to blame someone else? And within this, part of this separation from God's source is our separation from embracing that which we have thought is bad or evil or dark. Because the divine SoPhiA is the death and destruction just as much as she is the light and the birth. And when you truly connect to the divine SoPhiA, when you have your first true awakening with her, you usually find her through raw, primal creation. Through the volcanoes, through the earthquakes, through the massive powers of nature that move around, that humble us to the point where we recognize that we truly are such a small and insignificant energy that usually thinks we're so much better than everything else on the planet. But when we truly begin to humble ourselves and surrender to this divine energy, when she shows herself to us, it is usually with a face that has frightened us or that we have been taught is bad. And so when we follow the path of SoPhiA, many times that path of SoPhiA is going to actually start to lead us to the cosmic mothers who go by the names of Pele, Hecate, Kali, Sekhmet. As we begin to connect in with these vibrational energies, we're going to recognize that throughout history and time, that there has been a massive schism within what is feminine and beautiful and okay, and what is maybe a seductress or evil or wrong or bad. That there has become this kind of schism of what is good and what is bad. And within that, it's almost as though within creation, within all of this drama, what has happened is we have tried to cut off half of ourselves and hide it away. I don't want that. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see the death. Because there's something inside that has bought into the sense of separation that we lose ourselves through that moment. And so throughout history, especially when we come into a divine figure like divine SoPhiA, we start to get to see a lot of polarities within her story. And the truth is that there is the divine cosmic Christos SoPhiA, who is our cosmic dragon mother. She is our mother of all creation. And then there is the divine Pistis SoPhiA, or the SoPhiA, that is then started to be talked about through the Gnostics, through religion, through fitting in with this idea of God. And as we get to look at it, it starts to paint it as something that is wrong. And we're going to get to see that within a lot of the patriarchal teachings, as especially through Sumerian times, these are going to come into a lot of times where the divine feminine was specifically targeted to create almost like a slander against because of the amount of power that it holds. And within that, beginning to turn it into the Lilith, beginning to turn it in to this perspective even of the Naga being wrong. But when you really tap into these divine energies, you get to see that these divine cosmic feminine beings are in union with the sacred serpent energy. They are in union with the sacred kundalini energy, in union with the sacred sexuality energy. They're in union with the divine cosmic fire of life, which is the star fire. And this is how we find it a lot of times within the closest emanation that we have upon the earth is truly with this volcano or volcanic or the lava energy, the life force energy, because we start to even get an inkling of the power of this cosmic divine mother energy. That even the volcanoes and the lavas upon earth are such a subdued energy compared to the cosmic energy that would create a starburst or a whole new birthing of a galaxy or a constellation. And that is the tremendous power. That is the Shakti. And that from the Shakti comes the Shiva. But they have a merging, they have a dance. Because when it all merges back into the mother, the dance stops. So when we can embrace all of it, and the reason why the guides are really kind of going in this is because they're saying there is such a long-standing history upon the earth of teachings that made us uncomfortable with our own sexuality, uncomfortable with our own body systems, uncomfortable with our own secretions and bodily fluids. There has been such a schism into creating a lot of the sacred energies as taboo. And then it has allowed a massive amount of archonic energy and astral being energy, entity attachment energy, manipulation energy to actually overlay over everything that we agreed to make taboo. So unfortunately, our sacred fluids, our sexuality, the sacred rituals have actually become some of the most heavily targeted energies by the astral or archonic beings to keep us in these lower vibrational energies. So how do we break free from this? How do we actually begin to become whole again so that we don't just keep feeling like we're tossed in a victim in this whole game, but rather we get to recognize that the dance is the experience. And the beauty that the guides bring is that they are now inviting all of us with that beautiful spark in our heart. Feel your light, feel your love, feel who you are. Know thyself. And from that knowing, begin to start to question all the places that have felt taboo, uncomfortable, off limits. Like maybe you would be like, oh, I wouldn't do that. That is bad. And begin to start to be with that energy and allow yourself, as you be with it, to begin to find the barriers within the mind that have kept all of these walls and blocks and beliefs in place, so that you can begin to dispel all of that and feel, sense, and know the greater dance. Now, some might be like, well, if I do that, then what if I start doing things that are bad? Or how is this like, how do you explore the taboo? And what if some of it's bad? Well, here's again a recognition within our own programming within, because when you truly connect with nature, nature doesn't hold the same parameters or beliefs or limitations that we put on ourselves or that we have agreed to place upon ourselves as being a human. But what the guardians say is that when you come from the spark of your heart is imbued and embedded with your virtues, with the Christ consciousness, with the Christ light. And when you be the Christ light, how could you ever be anti-Christic? So therefore, you would be with all the energy moving through your body with no judgment. No judgment. That we would not try to joke about it, laugh about it, demean it in any way, but that we could honestly feel all the energy flowing through us without feeling as though we need to lock away, hide away, or limit any of it. When that begins to happen, we will truly begin to allow the fire of the Kundalini to move through and burn away any bindings. That truly when the Shakti awakens, because Shakti again is the power. It is the divine cosmic mother force. It is the power. It is the energy force. It is also the Kundalini that awakens within. And we can recognize that energy through her many, many forms, whether you want to see her through Pele, through Hecate, through Kali, through Sekhmet, through this fire that moves through, we know that these energies, what they are truly consuming, what they're truly destroying, is the illusions of the karma that binds you. So if your heart is in alignment to the Christ light, to the spark, to that consciousness within, you can, without restriction, allow all the sensations to begin to move through your body. You can be so free with the dance of life that life becomes a living, waking, walking orgasm of connection to all creation. That the wind would be a sacred union with the devas of the wind, that feeling the sunlight on your face would be a divine union with the angelics of the sunlight, that being in communion with swimming in the ocean or being with the trees or smelling a flower would be such an intimate connection with creation that you wouldn't be able to contain feeling it through every cell of your body. That when we be the sacred dance, the mind disappears. Our ultimate goal is to merge with the dance, to become one with the dance, to lose ourself within the dance. That when we become one with the dance, that is when transcendence from the inside out occurs. So within, there is an invitation to each and every one of us to truly allow ourselves to be with nature. But there's also an invitation to be with nature in a whole new way, because nature holds the primal template. It is based within the first and second dimension. So it's not affected by the emotional and mental body like we are. It's not affected by these. It holds more of the base template. So actually, when you begin to tap into 1D again, you actually can find that doorway back through, right? So as you begin to tap within that energy, nature begins to give you a raw primal connection back to the original template and blueprint of creation, of the Divine Mother. And it's partially how we begin to start to connect to higher mind of their truly advanced race lines that we many times question and go like, oh my gosh, if you guys were really helping us, how come you don't come and make all of these bad things stop? But again, we're looking at life in the universe and in the cosmos. We're making a decision or a belief about creation in the entire cosmos based on our teeny itty bitty little speck of dream of where we're existing. This planet is like one cell floating around in your body. How can you make a decision about the entire cosmos and what creation's going through based on one cell? Everything that we experience, they say, is us dreaming the dream. And if you don't like the dream, dream a new dream. And that there is no being trapped here. But there is a level of maturity to waking up, to knowing how to unlock or unplug all of the wirings, if you will, that keep us plugged into this simulation. And when that happens, your consciousness becomes free. You become one with the dance. And within this, the last thing they say on this is to recognize within so much love that if there was not chaos, you would be dead. Go within the cellular world, the chemistry, the experience of your body. Go into the physiology of the universe that's existing inside of you. And tell me there's not chaos. There is a cosmic dance going on within that is part of what is creating this experience. And that when you feel complete with this experience, guess what? You're not trapped. There's innumerable other experiences within creation. But they say, while you are here, why make it wrong? Be the dance, be the game, be the experience fully, because it's through that experience that you know thyself within.